28-year-old William Maisonette is a member of the Latin Kings, one of the main gangs on the island. The father of 3, he's looking at 25 to life for murder.
If I can't help you, I'm telling you right there on the spot, I can't help you.
You don't promise anything, because the minute that you're unable to actually produce is when everything just falls apart. You want other people to see that you're talking to that person. You want those same people be able to hear some of the contents of your conversation. But I'm there to listen, because these individuals are looking for someone to speak to.
10 years old.
I was 10 years old and I was catching kids coming out of high school and taking their shell-top Adidas sneakers in the 80s, okay? I was taking them for their bomber leather jackets, sheepskins, okay? It was chains, bats, and sticks. Back then you had to look at your victim in the eye, you know, after you stuck him and see the blood pouring out his heart. When I was young, I thought I was invincible. Now I'm facing 25 years to life. It's a living hell. Being locked up and being locked down is living hell, because you're around 50 to 60, depending upon what housing area you're in and how big it is, up to even 80. But I've seen people get rolled up out of here, I mean, half dead.
You've been around, like you said, so that leads me to believe that you've come across a lot of different individuals, whether they've been part of the group, not part of the group. You've been at war with different groups.
I'd rather say this. I'm a Latin King by choice. You know, I understand my position as a prisoner. But I also make it my business to understand the environment that I have to live in, lock in and lock out of, every day, and possibly for the rest of my life. And that's reality. And if you take some drugs from somebody and you don't pay him, you're gonna have to pay in blood. If you borrow some cigarettes from somebody and you don't pay him what you agreed to pay him, you're gonna pay in blood. You're gonna get beat down, or you're gonna get cut, you're gonna get stabbed.
You gotta understand this. When gang intelligence comes, it only helps when someone like in your position can actually come and tug on somebody who can help. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help. We're not here to actually scare anybody away from us.
You have a job to do. I understand your job.
There you go.
You're sitting here, you know, with a star on your chest, a gold one. I understand you gang intelligence, and you understand that I'm a Latin King. And this is how I live, and it's in my heart and my mind forever.
What are you gonna do for the time that you have to wait for sentencing, and how much time are they gonna hit you with? What are your feelings right at this point?
I'm gonna tell you, my feelings at this point is to say fuck it.
And why would you say it?
Because I'm gonna end up doing life in jail anyway.
How would you say that?
Because for that type of crime, the minimum sentence for that type of crime has the big L behind it.
What's big L stand
That's
for?
life. That's life. And when the jury stood up and said, guilty, murder in the second degree, we find the defendant Maisonette guilty of unlawful use of firearm to commit murder. It's like a ton of bricks. It was the end of my life, man. That's it. That's it. This is my life here. You go home. You don't lock in and lock out. You don't have to survive. You don't have to fight to use the phone sometimes. You don't have to hurt others or defend yourself to utilize the most basic things like calling and getting on the phone, man. You don't have to live with the fear that somebody's gonna come and shank you for whatever reason it is. I don't like you. Or maybe they going through what I'm going through. And they don't see any reason for living. So therefore they don't care for the next person's life. That's what I go through. A tug of war between saying, here, let me stab this nigga in the neck. I ain't got nothing to live for anyway. What they gonna do? Run it concurrent to my 25 to life. And then there's another logic side to that. And I give myself a reality check. Okay? And when it gets too much for me, I turn it over to my higher power. Because it's too much for me to handle, man. My emotions is to say the hell with it. My logic is to say, you know what, you're responsible for not just yourself, but for others.
When you're doing this job, you also have to go ahead and be human. Be someone that you would want to listen to you. And that's the approach that I took with him today.
All right.
In this game, truth, lies, both can be the same. You'll never know who's telling you the truth, and you'll never know who's lying to you. The only time you find out the truth for yourself, and it always comes out at the end, is when it's all said and done.